still the conversation, and you know how we do it on this side of this show. Today we're talking about safety concerns on Lagos waterways. We can only have this conversation here. They can't have it in Oyo. They can't have it in, okay, maybe it's Ondo, you know, partly. They can't have it in Oshun, so it's only Lagos. And, you know, there's this popular song, Ekololo Losa. Can you imagine? I want to sing song. I don't even know how to speak the Yoruba. Anyway, Ekololo Nyosa. That is the song. Seated here with us is Yinka Aderibigbe. He's a journalist and social affairs commentator. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. It's nice.
Lagos is surrounded by water, and increasingly those waterways are becoming an important alternative to our congested roads. For many residents, a boat ride can mean getting to their destination faster and avoiding hours of traffic. But speed and convenience mean very little if passengers do not feel safe. So today we are asking a simple but important question: how safe are Lagos waterways really? And how much do Lagosians appreciate our waterways beyond just tourism? So I'll start with the basics today. What exactly does Lagos waterways mean beyond tourism? Because many of us just look at the waterways on the bridges and say, hey, Lagos has so much water. Oh, it will be good for this, it will be good for that.
Yeah, I think it's nice if we bring it to context and to remind ourselves that Lagos has 22% of the total landmass of 25% covered by water. You know, it has the Atlantic Ocean, it has big lagoons, it has other water bodies, all forming approximately 103 kilometers. Oh. So it then brings to the fore the fact that you cannot ignore what now happens to be the biggest size of your administrative area. So you can safely say that what is available for Governor Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu as in hardcore landmass is just 3%, while 22% are just water bodies. So successive administration have focused on developing that mass of wealth. And it is not an accident. They are just building on the foundation that was laid by Baba Kekere himself, the late Lateef Jakonde. Who, the footprints are everywhere, including on the waterways, you know. And incidentally, the Commissioner of Transportation at the time was the father of the Deputy Governor. So you now see the connection. Waterways in Lagos is the reason why the state is known as the state of aquatic splendor. Yeah. It's the state that has, if well groomed, one of the best around the world shoreline from Badagry to the ports of Lagos. So we cannot avoid taking a special interest in the waterways because of what it represents beyond tourism. It is a potential alternative source of transportation. And I thank the present administration for digging deep and expanding the scope of alternatives to the 23 million Nigerians that are living in Lagos. Don't forget, out of that 23, 20 million conveniently move in this state every day. If you say, okay, you have some invalids, you have some babies, you have, other forms of people living with disabilities that are having challenges moving, put all of those at about 3 million. 20 million others move in this state every day using one single mode of transportation that have been burdened over time. So that's where we are, and that's why this conversation, I think, is very critical this time.
All right, from your observation, how safety conscious do you think Lagos residents are when they choose to travel by water?
Well, it is the fundamental right of everybody to want to commit suicide.
What do you mean by that?
But it is the responsibility of the state to say it is not safe to commit suicide here. So you find that many of the operators, especially in our riverine areas, may want to operate their craft without the critical component of watercraft marshalling, which is the life jackets. It is the responsibility of the government to say, not here. You can take that to Kutu Wenji, you can take that to Kaura Namuda, but you cannot practice it here. That the state is doing, and is doing massively. Through the agency called LASWA that was established in 2008, I think that approximately about 5,000 or more life jackets have been given, targeted at all these grassroots communities in riverine areas. So that not only the operator, but even you that you are the passenger trying to enter their craft are also there. You know, you used the appropriate, there are even life jackets for babies. So you can't say, it's because we can't get his size. There are different sizes for different people, whether you are plus size or you are just like me. You know, then Lagos has made it a point of law. You do not use your craft at night because there are no navigational signs, there are no light-up systems on the waterways at night. So you end your travels anytime from 6 p.m. Max. In fact, you are not even, it's not even encouraged to go on your waterway, on the waterways by 7 p.m. So that the state is strictly enforcing. And it is much more so now because under the Things Plus agenda of this government, they have given to LASWA a control center at their headquarters. So you can see what is going on from wherever, from Badagry to Isolo to Ikeja to Ikorodu. All the expanse of waterways we have are well covered. And you can pinpoint where there are challenges or issues from just the camera. So that has made it convenient for even the regulator, LASWA here, to be on top of the game in terms of ensuring that Lagos is safe on the. And if you look at the rate of accidents in the last 3-4 years, you discover that, but for people who want to just flout the law,
commit suicide, like you said,
like you
like
understand.
you said earlier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are just what you have on Lagos waterways. Much of what challenges elsewhere are not found here.
Okay, I want to talk more about this life jackets because LASWA, according to reports, were able to remove about 120 damaged life jackets from various boats and jetties. But the question here is, are we just telling people to wear life jackets? Are we making sure the life jackets we have and we see on board are truly functional?
Yeah, of course. If that's not the emphasis, then LASWA will not be mopping up damaged ones. So the whole essence is to ensure that you do not have a fundamental right to commit suicide, even though it's within your right to aspire to, But what we are saying is that you have an agency that is up to it. Because even all operators are registered by them. So you cannot hide. Those who can, even if for community purposes, especially for those living in those areas, they know the operators. And it's much likely a family line business. So they know. who is operating what. The size of your craft, they know. And they are giving them trainings and retrainings regularly on what to do, where to avoid, what to avoid, including shipwrecks, you know, that are also potential dangers lying on the, beneath the water surface that you might not also quickly see, but are really potential dangers that could lead to the boat capsizing.
Okay, then going back to us as the people, residents, the people that, you know, the commuters, or should I call them passengers on these boats, many of us refuse to wear this life jackets. Some will wear. Once the journey starts, they take it off. Are there consequences, you know, for people who just decide to say, okay, according to your say, I want to commit suicide, you know?
I think major users of our waterways are conscious of the fact that they need to be on the life jackets from the point of takeoff to your destination. At no point will anybody attempt to pull off his life jacket if he's not an operator, if he's not the pilot, if he's not the man guarding the speedboat machine behind trying to check, if he's not the flagman trying to see the distance and checking whether there are actually debris that the man piloting must be aware. So as a passenger, you cannot. And I believe that operators have been trained enough to be wary of such passengers who might be likely potential dangers, you know, to safe riding on our waterways. The fact is that a lot of us are still afraid of the waterways. You know, it's just like you being on in the air, for instance. You know, it's just a fraction of a second and anything can happen. So they rather want to see it happen on the land than on the water, you get. But it is one way we cannot afford not to ply because, hey, here, we just have 3% of land mass to use. The remaining 22% are just there. Yep. So we need to refocus. And I think I read a report recently that the ridership has grown from a paltry less than 2 million before the Sanwo-Olu administration came on board. It's now getting close to 6 million ridership daily. So we need to continue, and the government need to continue the drive, the awareness, you know, and then to begin to push incentives that will make even more operators or more willing investors to look at the waterways as a very good opportunity. It's not only for passenger anyway. You can also have those who can use it for, you can have people interested in barges that can use their barge to take containers from Apapa, for instance, through the waterways down to wherever they want to go, you know. So it's a very huge trove of opportunities outside of tourism that area, I believe Lagos is not lagging behind. You have Tarzan that has been there for ages.
Tarzan.
Whose major focus is on tourism and all that. And there are very many investors along the coastline. You know, maybe you'll also go there. You have very good palm trees that are giving good coconuts.
Okay. We're thankful that we've not had any major crisis on the waterways here in Lagos, and you've also alluded to the fact that the Lagos State government is on top of their game, you know, towards ensuring that issues around crisis on the waterways are reduced to minimal. So again, talking about safety awareness now, you just said some people are afraid, you know, people like Aderibigbe. I have traveled on water once.
I don't like water.
You know?
I don't like traveling on water. I don't know.
And so again, the state government has assured that it is safe. But do you think that the safety awareness should not just be spoken about before you get on board? What do you think the government should do? How best do you think it can reach a wider audience when we are talking about safety on waterways?
Well, the idea is simple. You see, it is only what we're interested in that you get to be aware of.
Exactly.
You know, the informations are everywhere. LASWA is trying its best. You know, we are not. I don't think Lagosians will pretend not to know that you will now have Omieko. They will not pretend not to know that somewhere on the corridors, on the fringes of the Lekki Lagoon is a place where Lagos is now partnering with a private investor to produce jetties, to produce watercrafts locally. If you don't know, it's because you are not interested. It's because you are not living around that area. But it's not as if there are no informations like that. So the awareness is, there's what you call selective perception. You only retain what you want to accept. And so for a lot of Lagosians, the fact remains that we need to broaden the alternatives before us. You know, if the state is trying to clean up the waterways, removing the water hyacinths from all the corridors, if they are trying to introduce and expand the water routes from what it is presently, I think 11 presently, they are moving to 15. If they are partnering with AFP to ensure Agence France, France Development Agency, to explore and provide more alternatives for Lagosians on waterways, it's because there's money there. And we cannot close our eyes. Those foreigners will not come here if there's no money. You know? So we cannot close our eyes to the fact that there is so much to make, and that we may contribute a little more to a healthier environment by not choking ourselves with greenhouse gases that will generate heavily on our roads. You know, so there are alternatives, and Lagos is trying to make it available to people. You can even do a park and ride. You can get your vehicle to the jetty point, take on the watercraft, and come back that same route, pick your vehicle, and get to your house. So there are so many alternatives. Now, I believe that the next administration will also sustain that and deepen it and promote it beyond where we might think that this present administration is not doing. But I believe that they are doing so much also, even now, to make it attractive to Lagosians, to make it safe for Lagosians, to remove all those things that could make you to be afraid of the waters. You know, well, there are people who are naturally afraid of water, just as people are naturally afraid of heights. You know, so, but at least when you are sure that the government of the state you are living is on top of the game in these areas, and that nobody will come from wherever to come and carry out a nefarious activity and go back safe, then I mean, you can readily be sure, and that is responsible for the huge increase that we are now recording in ridership on the waterways. Okay,
the safety problems, of course, we all know them from, like, we can't touch on them one by one because of time. We've talked about life jackets, we've talked about night travel, you know, responsible passengers and all. But there's one big question. When an accident happens, you know, on our waterways, people want to know, who do you contact? Is it LASWA? Because there's LASWA and there's NIWA. Who do you contact first? And I hope they have overlapping responsibilities?
You contact the first responders, and Lagos State have 2-3 LASMA has released another emergency code. Dial it and get across to the first responder, who will escalate to the appropriate. So it's not for you at that point being a first contact with an incident on waterways, bothering your head about who do I call. Just use your 767 or 112, or the one that the LASMA has introduced, and they will help to escalate to wherever. But I believe that LASWA is on top of the game, and they are in sync with NIWA when it comes to waterways policing, waterways regulations, and all of that, because they see that they enjoy a very robust backing of the government. You know, nobody rejects the best. No system rejects the best. So in spite of the fact that there's a Supreme Court law saying that NIWA is in charge of all the waterways regulation, but the fact remains that they are seeing a state out of the 26 littoral states in Nigeria that is doing what ought to be done on the waterways. So you can't reject it. You rather seek for more collaboration with such, because that remains the only way. I mean, if one is taking your headache off, why don't you want to encourage it to do more? Because you are less one. And that would now mean that there will be more, and there is indeed more collaboration between LASWA and NIWA, beyond all those legalese about who controls what, where, when, how.
Okay. All right, we must leave this conversation here. We've been talking about safety concerns on Lagos waterways. Now the responsibility lies with everyone, both the operators and the passengers, to ensure that the issue of safety is not a matter of reaction, but of course should be a routine. Thank you so much, Yinka Aderibigbe, journalist and social affairs commentator, for sharing your insight on this topic here on The Conversation.
Thank you very much for having me.
The program continues. Stay with us.